Welcome to the Aura Evolution Podcast, a sacred place for you to return home to your soul. I'm Helen Yeplan, founder of Helen Creates Beauty and the author of the Aura Color Wheel. This podcast is a sanctuary from soul discovery to soul mastery. Each week, we explore aura wisdom, spirit connection, and energy tools to help you embody your light and live your soul's purpose with clarity, joy, and fulfillment. Take a deep breath. Welcome home.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Aura Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Helen Yeplan. I am the author of the Aura Color Wheel. It's a system to identify your soul's purpose through your soul aura color. And as a result of my work, my clients find and live their soul's purpose with clarity, joy, and fulfillment. Welcome back to another episode of the Aura Evolution Podcast. And since this podcast is right after summer solstice, we had our summer solstice actually yesterday, and we are still in that portal. And during summer solstice or winter solstice, in that standpoint, as well as Soan. Soan is Halloween, basically. Those are the times of the year that the veil between the spirit realm and the human realm are really thin, meaning that we are easier or more in tune into the higher frequency of our spirit guides. And that's exactly why I choose today's topic to be, what are your spirit guides? Who is your spirit team? And how can you connect with them to receive guidance? Now, before we dive into this episode, I want to remind you that tomorrow we have our monthly live Q&A and spirit message reading for Aura Color Wheel readers. If you have purchased the book, you can receive 3 bonuses from me. And one of them is that you will receive a feng shui birth element and gua number reading. In this personalized reading, you will understand your lucky directions for love, abundance, health, and spiritual growth. So it's me or not AI reading, providing you the reading as a 3rd generation feng shui master. This is something that I truly believe that your living environment should support your spiritual or soul evolution. And the second bonus you're going to receive from purchasing the Aura Color Wheel book, no matter what format you purchase, audio, digital, as well as print or paperback, you're going to be able to join a private Facebook group called the Aura Color Wheel Circle. And that's where I post the Zoom link for our monthly live Q&A. So if you have any questions while you're reading the book, you're not sure how to do a certain practice, I'm here for you. And also, I will be able to tune into your spirit team and relay any messages they have for you. People always love that. So, and this is going to happen at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So if you haven't gotten a copy of the Aura Color Wheel book, right now is a great time to grab a copy and join our live call. Okay, so we are going to dive right in to what are spirit guides and how can you connect with them. Now, first of all, I want to share a little bit of my personal journey of how I be able to, work with angels and become an angel channeler, and then tune into the quantum and see different type of spirit guides. If 10 years ago you asked Helen, do you believe in angels? I would tell you that they don't exist. That's the transformation that I went through in order to connect with spirit guides, right? So before I dive in, I just also want to remind you that this podcast is live every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And if you want to catch the audio version, you are able to do that on Tuesday on all the platforms that you listen to your podcasts. And if you're live with me today, you're welcome to ask me any questions that you related to what we're talking about. Okay, so or also leave any comments if afterwards you watch it on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. You're welcome to ask any questions as well. I would love to be more interactive. So, okay, going back to my personal story of how I begin to connect with my guides. Um, I would say that when I was born and raised in China, and I did not grow up religious or spiritual, although, in the general, Asian culture, that a lot of people believe in Buddhism and Taoism. But our family is not one of them. So we are more kind of like the scientific minded that believe that, there is no ghost or afterlife. All right. That's the culture that I was brought up in. So I was fast forward, I just went straight to my PhD study, from elementary school all the way to PhD study, not really knowing, what I really want to do in my life, just following what my parents' expectation of me, because a legitimate job, in Chinese culture would be engineer, doctors, professors, lawyers, accountants, you name it, those are professionals, right? So that's why I, went all the way. I came to the US in my early 20s for higher education and was in my PhD program. However, I was deeply unfulfilled because I was born with an artist soul gift archetype. If you have read the book, you know that I was suffering from anxiety and depression because I wasn't in alignment with my soul's purpose. Then in 2011, I would say it's my spiritual wake-up call, is that I finally gone into a really deep self-healing and self-discovery journey due to a ER visit of panic attack. So I really think that, I absolutely have to figure out a way to get out of this unhappiness, right? So then my first stop was the yoga on Main Studio in Philadelphia at the time. I joined a yoga and meditation teacher training, and there was when I first time experienced in my life meditation. So it's a group meditation setting, and I was sobbing like a baby. So, like, literally the first time I meditate, I was crying so much. I was purging so much stuck emotion inside of my sacral chakra and root chakra, honestly, also. And I felt home for the longest time. I haven't felt that for a long time. And I just feel really good about it. So from then on, rather than doing the asana or the poses of uh, yoga, I actually get addicted to meditation. And after 3 months of my meditation practice, my anxiety, I was able to take off all the anxiety and depression medication I was on. So if you knew me, that I have a saying that meditation became my medication. So till fast forward to this day, now right now we're in 2026, and I've been practicing daily meditation for 15 years. So what happened is that in 2018, so 7 years into my daily meditation practice, I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And during that awakening is when my third eye, or the all-seeing eye in between your eyebrow, it's an energy center, or the pineal gland, started to activate, and being able to see spirit guides, or higher and vibrational frequency beings, that's exist. And why I call them the higher vibrational beings is because if you see a hummingbird, when they flutter their wings, they flutter it so fast that you almost your naked eye or physical eye almost consider it as not there, like not exist, right? That's the same thing. That's the same vibrational frequency, probably 10x or 20x the hummingbird fluttering the wings. It's even higher than that. So that's most of the spirit guides or angels, or in the spiritual realm, how fast or how high their vibration is. That's why it's hard for us to perceive them in our naked eye. So after 7 years of my daily meditation, I had the spontaneous Kundalini awakening. That's when I begin to see them. So that's why when a lot of students and clients ask me, how do you connect with your guide? I would highly recommend you to do meditation or some kind of contemplative practice where you literally just sit there and do nothing. It's really hard for modern human beings because we are so used to, moving so fast, getting so much done, and the to-do list is like nonstop during the day. However, in order to be able to tune into them, you really need to be in a state of presence, like literally that be here now. And ideally, you have also a gratitude practice on a daily basis, because how they vibrate is the frequency of unconditional love. And that's how I felt when I did my first meditation, that something vibrating with unconditional love was holding me the whole time. And later on, I understand that was Mother Mary holding me the whole time. And that's why I was able to purge so much unprocessed emotions during my first meditation practice, that's stuck in my sacral chakra, that's related to our inner child. That's where our inner child resides. So that's kind of my personal experience of how I tune into them. And since 2018, I've been working with my own personal guides as well as doing spirit message readings for my clients. So I'd be able to tune in your quantum field, because I'd be able to see auras around people, any living things, trees, plants, as well as animals. So the main thing is that when working with these beings or spirit guides, is that you are ideally in an energetic neutrality position, meaning that you are not expecting or certain outcome or have an attachment to a particular outcome. That's the best when you channel or relay messages. In order to do that, I really need to basically have my personal own meditation practice on a daily basis. Otherwise, I will be get out of that presence and also that energetic neutrality space. So it's not really easy once we have an attachment. Sometimes I reflect back upon my personal spiritual awakening process. I will actually think that just because that I did not expect when I'm doing my meditation practice, all I really wanted is to heal my anxiety and depression. I wasn't thinking or even expecting that I am going to connect with spirit guides or my psychic ability is going to enhance, or, I'm going to basically connect with them or Kundalini awakening in any way. So because I do not have any expectations or attachment to this particular outcome, meaning that being able to connect with my spirit guides, that's probably also why that this process is kind of more natural to me. So instead of every single day when I meditate and I ask spirit guides, where are you? Please relay any messages to me. Rather than that, I really was just practice for practice sake. Because I know that once I get back in there, I am calm, peaceful, and clear. My mind is clear. So when I take actions, it's more aligned. I just want to go back to that space. So that's what I meant by energetic neutrality. So your energy field is not really expecting a particular outcome or an attachment to a certain outcome. Now that's kind of my personal experience, and I've been working with them for 8 years now, since 2018, and I've done channel. That's why I also did the training as an angel channeler. It took me a few years to integrate these particular skill, or say that that come back to me, because I remember in past lives I also had these psychic abilities. That's why I was born as a Scorpio sun sign, right? That's one of the gifts. I think all intuitively sensitive people that you know what I'm talking about. So after my personal, Kundalini awakening, I was able to also tune into my personal spirit guide, spirit team. And that's who the Dragon's Eye. That's why I also have a painting. Those painting behind the background are all my original paintings. That's why the Dragon Lady painting is actually all inspired of my spirit team. And they showed me a symbol of a Celtic symbol, that because I asked them how I can call you collectively, and I did automatic drawing. Basically, I drew out a symbol and then I image Google it. What does that mean? And then it came out to be a Celtic symbol of the dragon's eye. That's how they call it in the olden times. And it's a balance. It's kind of like a pyramid in 2D shapes. Okay, it's like a tetrahedron or pyramid in 2D shape. So it looks like three small triangles together. And that particular shape combined together means love, power, and wisdom of the balance of the three. Love, power, and wisdom. I absolutely love it. And that's how I call them ever since. And also the Aura Color Wheel system is a dynamic soul discovery and evolution blueprint, literally for your soul. And this particular system, I also channel with them, meaning that I was doing automatic writing or in trance state most of the time when I channel this full system, including a 20-question quiz where you can take easily to identify your soul aura color and your soul gift archetypes. So there are 9 universal soul gift archetypes and 36 soul aura colors exist, according to the Dendera calendar in ancient Egypt. It's still in the Dendera temple in the Hathor temple in Dendera, Egypt right now, actually on the sky. There was 36 deacons or 36 original spirits, rather than the simplified 12 zodiacs. Right now, there were actually originally 36 soul aura colors. That's how it's coincide. And my spirit team also understand that not everyone be able to perceive their own soul aura color. That's why they make it very accessible to have written a quiz in order for you to identify your own soul aura color. And it's, it takes you 5 to 7 minutes free on my website, helencreatesbeauty.com, where you can take it and get the result of it. Now, this quiz is completely channel. When I mention about channel, it really means that it wasn't going through my cognitive or analytical mind. It's when I'm in almost this falling asleep and not falling asleep state, like the dream state or the theta brainwave. That's when trance channeling happening. So it's an absolutely magical system. If you haven't taken the quiz or haven't gotten the book, you absolutely should, because it's more of a reference type of book that where your soul, once you identify where your soul is currently at, what is your next evolution journey, you want to kind of map it out and, get the map of it, right? So that's why it's a reference type of book. It's not a type of book that you read from the front to the back. So I was talking about how I channel with my spirit team and connect with them and work with them, and also different archangels when I, basically create any products in my business, just like the Cosmic Blueprint reading, where I synthesize all 8 spiritual wisdoms for self-discovery, including Western and Vedic astrology, numerology, Enneagram, Genie Keys, human design, and the Aura Color Wheel system. When I synthesize all of them, it's also channeled with Archangel Metatron. Okay, so that's how I've been working with them for the past 8 years in different, creating different products, different creations in service for my spirit guides. Now, before we talk about how we can connect with our own spirit team, because every one of us has a team of spirit guides working with us, at the same time, simultaneously, it's a team. It's not just one, right? I want to tell you the different types of spirit guides. In my book, in the Aura Color Wheel book, I describe 9 types of spirit guides. The first one is angels. Now, angels has 2 types. One is your guardian angel. I think, a lot of us have heard of it. Your guardian angel is specifically assigned to your soul when you were born. So he or she only is with you, throughout your lifetimes on planet Earth. And then there is another type of angel called archangels. Now, archangel is omnipresent, meaning that they are everywhere at the same time simultaneously. So archangels can help with everybody at the same time, because at the quantum field or at the spirit realm, everything is one, vibrating unconditional love. That's why, time and space is an illusion, actually. So that's why archangels are omnipresent. And I listed out all the different type of archangels in my book, including Michael, Metatron, Gabriel, Ariel, Raphael, Haniel, Jophiel, Chamiel, Uriel, Sandalphon, Ragiel, Jeremiah, Zachiel, Azrael, Raziel. So those are the most common archangels that I've worked with, either when I work with them alone or I channeling for my clients for spirit message reading. If you want to go deep into each archangels, maybe I will make a different episode that I talk about different archangels, so that I think that would be interesting. So let me know in the comment if you would like to know different archangels and what their energies and messages are. Okay, so What a Love Day 90 says hello. You're welcome to ask any questions that are related to the things that we discussed. We're talking about, what are spirit guides and how to connect with them. So the first type of spirit guides are angels, and the second type is your past ancestors. Now, I want to mention about it, what I do is slightly different than mediumship. I understand that mediumship is basically channeling any past life by wearer. Hello, welcome to the live podcast. So the ancestors, the second type of spirit guide is ancestors. So ancestors are only those ancestors who have passed, that have already resolved most of their soul lessons or healed most of their soul wounds, can become a spirit guide on the other side to guide your life. It doesn't mean that, once your ancestor passed, they automatically become your spirit guide. It's different. Okay. However, mediumship, you can channel all past ancestors, any past ancestors that literally, like the ones that you have met or the ones that you haven't met in this lifetime, they can come forward and talk to you. However, in order for them to become a guide of yours, they literally need to be learning their soul lessons and healing their soul wound to a pretty good standpoint, that they don't need to go back to the incarnation cycle almost immediately. Now, for example, that my father, when he passed, he remained in the spirit realm a little bit. I knew that he was one of my guides in that temporary state. However, I also knew that he reincarnate quite, not immediately, but in human time, probably in a year or two, he already went back to the incarnation cycle. And I also knew that second incarnation cycle, that he passed as an 8-year-old boy in a boating accident, because after 8 years, he actually came back to me and told me that now he is in the, spirit realm again. And almost like it's like there is a lesson that this boy or this particular soul has to learn. So that's why he had to pass pretty young and came back, the second round. And now he already entered into a next incarnation cycle. So I just want to tell you that that's the difference between an ancestor who are your guides on a constant basis, or who are just like, a past ancestor that can be channeled through mediumship. So that's the second type of spirit guide. And then the third type of spirit guide is ascended masters. So ascended masters, they typically have a physical body incarnated on planet Earth, have walked the human path and become enlightenment. So basically, why we call enlightenment the process of human evolution, because at the soul level, you're literally light. At the soul level, it's just a bowl of light that make up with the 7 aura layers. And that's why the aura color system what it talks about is the soul aura, that bowl of light inside of your soul. And all you're working on is to healing different layers of energy or energy centers. So that way you literally become mostly white rather than a particular color. Because when all the aura layers are harmonized and whole and heal and balance, they combine together, become white light. Okay, so that's the path of enlightenment. So ascended masters like Jesus Christ and Buddha, like Mary Magdalene, as well as Guan Yin, they have different set of ascended masters in the East and the West. They walk the human path and become enlightened and stay in the spirit realm as a guide. Okay, as to guide humanity on their evolution path or on their enlightenment path. So that's the third type of spirit guides. And the fourth type of spirit guides are deities. Now, deities, they do not have a human incarnation, but they've been worshipped over the years, anywhere internationally around the world. In like ancient Greece, they have the, Greek mythology talk about all the gods, the goddesses. Ancient Egyptian has their god and goddesses, and Indian, they have the Ganesh, the elephant god. So there are different type of gods and goddesses that over different culture they worship, but they do not have a human, incarnation. So those are the deities that can be on the other realm to assist you. And then the fifth type of spirit guides are nature spirit. So nature spirit are the elemental force like fire, air, water, earth, and ether. They can be any living creatures, besides human and animals on planet Earth. So fairy realms, if we watch cartoons, we know all how fairies looks like, right? They are playful, they live in the nature environment. So if your soul gift archetype in the oracular system is healer, very likely that you work with the fairies as your spirit team on the other realm. So also okay, so nature spirit are the 5 elemental spirits, and then the 6 type of spirit guides are the fairies. Okay, so they are different types. So the nature spirits is more like the fire, the air, the water, raindrops, clouds, trees, flowers. I remember when I was a kid, I talked to trees sometimes. I don't know if you do that, but tree spirit is also very wisdom, also. So then the 7th type of spirit guides are animal spirits. Okay, animal spirit is basically archetypal energy of an animal. If you're an animal lover, you know what I'm talking about. Those can be your spirit guides as well on the other realm. And the 8th type of spirit guides are star beings. So star beings are basically, you can also call them ETs. In human planet, we call them ETs, right? So basically, it's beings that live in other star systems or galaxies rather than planet Earth. For example, I'm a Pleiadian star being that I have lifetimes, meaning that I have past lives in that particular star system before I drop down to Mother Earth. Now, to be honest, I think all of them, yeah, those are the galactic guides. What a lovely day 90 was talking about. So the galactic guides are the council of light that's in the 12th to 13th dimension, that's guiding you for your soul's evolution. And I personally have channeled about 22 different type of galactic guides on the other realm. So a lot of them, so some of them that are most common are Andromeda, Blue Avian, Blue Printers, Handarian, Lyra, as well as Orion, Pleiadians, Polarians, Sirius, Spica, Vega, and Velus. So those are the some of the galactic guys that I've channeled on the other side. And I also would bring on a guest probably in August to talk about the different type of galactic beings as well, to expand the knowledge a little bit. But this is the one of the 9 types of spirit guides. And then lastly, the 9th type of spirit guide, I call them the temporary guides, because those are the expert guides that help you to finish or perform a particular task. So that's like if you are a working on a sports competition, or composing a musical piece, or medical professionals doing a surgery. I can see some expert guides that have passed, but they are experts in that field, that's here to help you either compose your music, doing your surgical, your surgery, right? And personally, when I channel the oracular wheel, the book or the system, a guy named Herbert Spencer came through. He was a 19th century English philosopher known for applying Darwinism principles to social evolutions. And he literally came here and told me that he's coming here to help me to write a book on soul evolutions. So I also see a comment on YouTube saying that I know I have connections to Cyrus. Yes, exactly. I think we're all stardust, all humans on Mother Earth planet. Before we came down to Mother Earth, we all have connections with a star system. It depending on where your star origin is, you just humanly, this lifetime feel more connected to them. And then when you drop down to Mother Earth, it's actually one of those ancient Norse lands that we belong to. I'm talking about Lemuria, Atlantis, as well as there's Atlantis, there's Lemuria, there's one more. I forgot the ancient Lost land. Atlantis. Yeah, I don't remember the last one, but there were like 3 Asian lost lands that's related to when you drop down to Mother Earth as a star being. So I just mentioned, okay. So I received a comment saying that I've been able to see some of my past lives. Most of my life were in Asia. Yeah, it really that's past life regression. I will have another episode to talk about it. So it depends on your past life memories, where you are. Basically, once you are dropped down from the stars, you become one of those, you drop down to one of the Asian lost lands. And the last one, I just know that it's in Glastonbury, where England, the Michael and Mary ley line is. I just forgot the land, the name of the land, because that's also very familiar with me. I had past lives in the Celtic, in Europe, actually more. It's funny that you mentioned that you have more past lives in Asia. I feel like I have more past lives in Europe. And that's also why, actually this Thursday I'm traveling to Spain, because I felt like I had a lot of past lives as as gypsies in southern Spain, actually as men. So I'm so looking forward to, visit the land of Andalusia. As I'm talking about it, my whole body have goosebump chills, because I know I have a connection over there. This would be my first time actually visiting Spain, but it feels like home to me, especially the southern part, Seville, Granada. So yeah, I will see what this trip will brought me memory alive, probably. So I just finished talking about the 9 types of spirit guides, and I dive much deeper into who they are, what vibration, energy, as well as numbers, the angel numbers, as well as the colors, the signs, or the animals spirit that kind of goes with the angels in the Oracular Wheel book. And as I mentioned, that if you purchase the book, you are able to join a private Facebook group, the Oracular Wheel Circle, and I'm hosting monthly live spirit message reading there for you. I will be able to tune into the quantum, see your spirit guides, and relay any messages they have for you in the live call. And it's happening tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So if you haven't gotten a copy of the book, now is the best time. Get a copy of the book, joining the live call. It's free for all people who have purchased the book. Okay. All right. So yeah, there was a comment here saying that interesting. I have deep interest in Asia. I'm learning Japanese. You see, so it's so interesting. It's like whatever our past life, it's kind of drawn to, right? We kind of kind of have the interest, basically take an interest in that particular area. Like right now, I want to learn Spanish. It's so interesting. But I was born in Asia as a Chinese, right? So definitely we will definitely talk about your past lives. I think I do have an episode in the Aura Color Wheel. I want to double check in the Aura Evolution podcast that I actually talk about past life. So if you are interested in that, you probably will find that particular episode quite interesting. Oh, actually, I haven't published it yet. So I definitely will have I don't think I have it yet. So that's something that would be really interesting to talk about. So definitely when I come back from Spain, that will be the topic we're going to talk about. Past life. Okay. So remind me of that in the so I will be back. So that episode will be on the July 20th, that we definitely is going to talk about past life. That's when I'm going to be back, July 20th. Okay. Thank you so much. So after we discuss about the 9 type of spirit guides, I want you to know that you have a team of spirit guides, not just one. So maybe in your mix, you have different type of spirit guides working with you simultaneously. Now, most likely I see between 5 to 9 spirit guides working with the individual soul at the same time when I tune into the quantum field. And I do not need to see you in order to know who are your guides. All I need is a picture of you and a permission that you let me tune into your quantum. So you give me your permission, you give me a picture, and I can tell who are your guides behind you. So in now between these 5 to 9 guides, it depends on your personal soul's mission or your current evolution stage. They might come in different forms. So there are different types of mixing it, right? For people because I work with the angels a lot, so my personal team consists most angel, archangel spirit, besides my personal guardian angel. Now, you all have one guardian angel no matter what. And typically, because they either have more of the masculine or the feminine energy, they typically work with another archangels intimately, to have the others, the opposite, almost the yin and the yang, the balance. So one archangels and one of your guardian angels, they work really intimately and closely with you for sure. And then the other type of guys, depending on your soul gift archetype, right? So for example, healers, I see, sometimes the animal spirit, fairies, elemental spirit, and artist souls, they might also have expert guides, who are also artists, right? Or star beings, if they are channeling, because I always see that artists are the channels of the divine. And if you are teacher or researcher, soul gift archetype, you might have ascended masters behind you because you want to inject wisdom, in other people's life, right? So it depending on what your soul gift archetype and your personal soul mission is, or what you're healing, what soul wounds you are healing, or what soul lessons you're going through. So that's why it's really helpful to take the Soul Aura Color course, to purchase the Aura Color Wheel book to identify your personal soul gift archetype and soul aura color, so that you know who might be in your team, right? So I see a comment saying that, I have deities, archangels, ancestors, great-grandfather, and great-grandmother. Yeah, it depends. So if you're working, healing your bloodline, I mentioned, I think in an episode, I talk about, your ancestor is speaking through you. So I personally share my ancestral trauma wounding healing of my mother line. And my both my grandmother and great grandmother was there because at the time I was healing intensely of my mother line. So you will feel you're more connected to your ancestors at the time. Now this spirit team composition, it might move and change. Okay, so as I mentioned that there will be one archangels and one of your guardian angels. Those two are always with you, and the rest, they can change. But about 5 of them is kind of constant. I call them my homies. I hope you can call them your homies too, right? So they are pretty much there all the time. For me, Archangel Haniel is the angel that works with my personal guardian angel. I described it in my book as well. So those are my homies. And Archangel Jophiel is always flying around me that I know. Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael, they're always there. So I know that those are my homies. And the rest of the composition, it really depends on what I'm working on at that time. Sometimes they're ancestors, sometimes they're animals. I do have dragon working with me, so I do have that dragon spirit. And sometimes they can be ascended masters if I'm teaching, right? Or expert guys who came in while you're working on a certain project. So everybody has a team of spirit guides, 5 to 9 of them. And if you call, you can order a spirit message reading on my website, helencreatesbeauty.com, where I will be able to identify who are your current guides and what messages they have for you as well. So those are the guys. And then you ask me, oh, Helen, how do I connect with them, right? And of course, in my book, I also talk about the 5 steps where you're able to tune into your spirit guide for guidance. So now, first of all, you need to give permission. So a lot of us sometimes do not tune in or give permissions to our guides. Remember that I told you my personal kind of transition from not knowing, have this scientific mind that don't believe in angels to completely flip upside down and now working with the angels. It's because I did not give them permission at the beginning. I don't even know they exist. I don't believe they exist, or I don't trust their existence. That's why I never say that, okay, guys, come help me, right? So first of all, the very simple first step is that you need to give permission. And I have a simple invocation that's written in my book. I would say that, dear guardian angel, archangel, and spirit beings of the highest good who are currently working with me, please come close now and give me guidance on. You can say any specific thing that you want guidance on, or make me feel your energy. Sometimes you just want to connect with them and feel their existence. You can say that, make me feel your energy. I am open to receive what is the highest good for all. Please show me messages, symbols, or signs that are easy for me to understand. My heart is full of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's the invocation I pretty much do every morning when after my daily meditation practice, I want to see if I receive a message. But remember, don't play any expectations, all right? So the second step is to ask for a sign and trust your psychic abilities. You need to ask them for a sign, and I want you to actually try it out today already, since you're tuning in with me today. Ask your guides and spirit teams to show you a sign that tells you that they are with you. Literally just that simple. Don't ask for any guidance yet. Just ask them that they are with you. And I remember one of my students, the first time, in Body of Light, we practiced connecting with our own spirit teams. She was like jumping up and down because she literally asked for signs that says angels. Because that's the easiest for her to understand that they are there. She said that I asked a simple thing, just show me angels, when you are with me. And then she had her morning walk, every day she had a morning walk in the neighborhood. And literally in the neighborhood, she never noticed that there is a sign, one of the neighbors literally like have a sign outside on the backyard, on the front yard, have a sign saying angels, like right there. And that was her first time noticed that sign. So and I'm like, okay, so this is blatantly, apparent that your side, the sign is right there. And so you need to trust, right? Just trust this process. So that's the second step, is to ask a sign. And the third step is literally to surrender divine timing and form. As I mentioned at the beginning of our discussion, you need to surrender to the time and the form, how angels deliver their messages to you, or your spirit guides deliver their message to you, right? Sometimes I ask for a sign for dragons. They might not just give you a real dragon. They might show you in different forms. They might show you in a statue or in a movie, and all of a sudden in a song that they're singing about dragons, right? And things like that. So you need to be quite, ready to receive, but also you need to let go of the attachment to outcome or expectations, because sometimes it might not be your soul's highest good to know it now. Okay, that's the thing. So surrender to divine timing and form. And the fourth step is to take guided actions. Now, this is most of us hesitate in there. Is that once you receive the guidance and the message, you have to take action. If you do not take action, your guides won't show you more. They won't tell you what's the next, because you haven't taken the first step yet. They want to show your commitment that you're working with them. So that's why, it's okay that you take some human time to integrate it. Just like when I talk about healing my ancestral trauma with my mother, the energy or the message I receive from my guides is literally that I need to forgive my mom. And humanly, I wasn't able to do it for 3 years, but I received that message loud and clear, and I am consciously working on it. It doesn't matter of how much human time you need to take, but you need to take action, that your guides know that you are, going towards there. And lastly, I want you to practice gratitude. That's the fifth step, and one of the most important steps also, to practice thank you. Once you receive a message, you say thank you to your guides. It's almost have a connection or a bonding between you and your team. It's just like, think about it. If you get married or you date a guy or a woman, you don't date them for one day and say that now we can get married, right? You need to constantly have a bonding with them on a regular basis so that you can continue receive guidance or receive messages from them. You cannot just today I tune in and have a bonding with them. And by the way, that if I'm not having any emergency situations, I forget about you. No, you need to talk to them almost on a constant basis. That's how I call it. I literally have a journal with automatic writing. I call it the date with your spirit guides, right? So that's also important. Now, practicing gratitude, it's not about, your guides doesn't need any thank you. They don't need that. But when you practice that gratitude, that thankfulness, when you receive a guidance from them, you're vibrating in unconditional love frequency. And when you're vibrating in the unconditional frequency, that's where that frequency match, because your guides are vibrating in unconditional love. So the more you are in the gratitude state, the more you're vibrating in unconditional love, the closer you are in vibrational frequency match to your spirit guides. That means what? That means the easier for you to receive the messages. Okay. So the gratitude practice is not for the sake for your spirit guides. It's for you to match your vibrational frequency to them. So those are the 5 steps. Also, I talk a little bit in detail in my book, How to Connect with Your Spirit Team. Okay. First, you tune in and give permission. Second, you ask for a sign, and you need to trust your psychic abilities that we all do have. And third, you need to surrender to the divine timing and form. Fourth, you need to take guided actions. 5, practice gratitude. Okay, that's how you connect with your spirit guides. And so I see a couple comments here. What a lovely day 90 mentioned that I believe Gabriel is my guy. He's making himself known to me lately. I love that, connect with him more. So Archangel Gabriel is the angel of communication and also the angel to heal your inner child. And if you believe that you have a connection with them, Gabriel, to me, at least personally, is a silvery white ray of light. So that's the color of him, as well as dove, like that Dove, that particular bird, the white bird, or raven. It's a symbol of him, as well as citrine crystal. Actually, it's one of my favorite crystals. Flower wise, lily and jasmine reminded me of him, as well as the angel number 333. So those are the symbols of Archangel Gabriel, at least from my understanding. But trust your own communication with him. And then Sergi Genie 7371. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name right. You said that Holy Spirit, holy blessings to you all, sending unconditional love, sending divine love, sending Gabe love to all holy families and friends. I thank you so much. I will receive. I hope everyone receive it as well from our spirit guides. So I talk about the 9 different type of spirit guides, the 5 steps to connect with them. And also I want you to know that how do they typically communicate with you, right? Now, I will have another episode to talk about psychic abilities. Depending on your innate gift, you might have different way to receive your spirit guides' messages. But here are the typical or the most common ways that someone receive messages from their guides. First of all, if you're clairsentient, so if you are born an empathic, highly sensitive soul, or like a very compassionate person, basically, you might feel it. You literally have a feeling, the warmth, the peace, the inner knowing, that's your connection with them. And sometimes they might have repeating numbers, 1111 or 333 or 222, things like that. Those are angel numbers, right? That's one other way to they will send you messages, or literally they show you animals or songs. All of a sudden they play a song that only you know that particular lyric that you need to hear. Or feathers. Actually, my guardian angels always show me feathers when because literally I asked him how I can call him. It's a masculine energy. That's why he works with Archangel Haniel. Haniel is more of a feminine energy. And I asked him how I can call you. He literally let me automatic write a name, and it means feather in Chinese. It's a Chinese character. So that's how I knew him, that he's around. And I remember there was one time I was traveling alone in Italy, away from my family. I feel a little bit lonely. And he literally, like on the pathway, I literally pick up a feather. So he's almost like reminded me that he is there with me, that I'm not alone. And I immediately heartfelt thank you. And normally when they show you signs, you have that whole body goosebumps, or I call it truth chills, or that warmth within your body, like almost like making you cry, but you're not yet crying. Then you know that it's a good sign, that is a good symbol, because it's coming from your soul, right? And sometimes if you look at the clouds, people see different formations, and that could be also a sign from your spirit guides. And I remember that there was one time that I asked for a sign, that if I said that that was at the very beginning of my, personal connection with my spirit team. To be honest, I was still half foot in, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I wasn't completely trusted yet. So I asked them for a sign for an orchid, because orchid is my father's favorite flower. Before he passed, he would bring us to the orchid garden to have orchid tea every weekend. And our house grow a lot of orchid in southern China. So, and then because right now I'm living in Southern California, orchids are actually sold in supermarkets. So it's super common, right? And they know that if I just go to a supermarket and I see orchid, that's not special enough to let me know that they are with me. So what happened is that one day I was cleaning my closet with all my books and things like that. And then a dry orchid fell out from the yoga teacher training manual. of like, there was a long time ago, a dry one fell out from the booklet. Immediately I cry. I literally immediately cry without any, like, there was no reason. I cry, I burst into tears, I sobbed like a baby, and I knew that my guys were with me. It's like I just knew. You cannot ask me logically how I know. I just knew. And from that point on, I did not doubt it anymore. I no longer doubt it. It's almost like they want me to know, and they give me a confirmation that they are with me constantly. And I shouldn't doubt it at all. So that's my personal sign. So that's why I encourage you today, after this episode, to talk to your guides, say a prayer that I give you permission. Please show me a sign that you're with me. And you need to ask a sign that's uniquely meaningful to you. And I'm sure they're going to show you something. Okay. And also, sometimes if like I also like, you can also test this. This is a very fun practice. Sometimes when I ask for guidance, I ask them, whether A is better or B is better, right? So like, I need to make a decision, spirit guides. I'm not sure whether I should choose A or B. Can you tell me which one is better? Almost, right? So then I would say, if it's A, why don't you show me a hippo? If it's a B, why don't you show me a tiger? You can just say something that's like ridiculous that you don't see it on your daily life. So when that shows up in your life, you know that that's a sign that your guides are telling you the direction. Now, I also want you to know that you might not receive any answer because neither one is good or bad. So meaning that like it's almost like they honor your free will as well. They don't interject your life as long as it's not a warning. Like if there is something that's apparent better than the other, they will tell you, right? But if there is something that it's like they don't want to direct your life, they want you to live your own life, they want your free will to exercise. So if neither of them is one is better than the other, they won't tell you. You might not see any of them. Or sometimes you might see in different ratios. You might see 2 hippos and 3 tigers. I know this because I tested out. So sometimes not receiving any signs, it doesn't mean that they ignore you. It might mean one, it's not your best timing to know, meaning that there was some other outside circumstance revolving this situation. It still need to organize itself to show up and answer. So there is not a clear pattern yet, but the universe is organizing the different puzzle pieces to make this together. That's one possibility that you haven't received a sign. The second thing is that neither A or B, which one is better? It's almost your human experience. I have no idea why there's all balloons around me. I guess my guys is showing you the yes, right? So basically, the second option is you do not receive a sign. It's because there is neither one is good, better than the other. So either one, you can go, you can choose it. It's your human experience. And third, that you still haven't received any sign. Is it possible that your aura layer or your auric field is really under a lot of stress? So you're very incoherent, basically. You're very incoherent. So it's like, because sometimes when we ask for guidance, we're out of desperate, that particular energy. We really needed the answer and we are really attaching to a particular outcome, or we're really gripping on something, we're controlling or, expect something in return. And that's when your auric field is not in that energetic neutrality state that I talked about in earlier. So that's why it's harder to get to your spirit team. That's why when you practice gratitude, you're coming back, you're dropping back in your heart space. It's easier for you to vibrate that unconditional love again. If your auric field is out of coherence, it's harder to reach to them. Okay, so it's almost like you broadcast a signal, but it's chaotic. The signal is not strong enough to send to the heaven. That's what happens. So that's also why in my earlier episodes, I talk about your emotional field, your emotional body. I talk about your mental body, because I want the red aura layer, your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, all of them in alignment in one signal. And that's how it gets to your heart chakra to send signal to the universe. Hey, by the way, I'm ready. I can connect with you. Okay. So that's why it's also helpful for you to listen to the previous episodes to make sure that your mental body and your emotional body are in coherence. So in this section, we talk about how do spirit guides communicate with you, and what are the possible signs, as well as the possible symptoms of why you're not receiving a sign from them. And lastly, before I go, I also want to talk about that some of my students, or one of the most common questions that asked by me, that you just started to connect with your guides, is that how do you know that it's from spirit and not from your mind, that you did not make it up, right? Now, I think I share enough personal example, is that when you receive a spirit guidance or a download or channeling message, it feels love. Remember that I burst into tears. My whole body has goosebump chills. It feels love. It feels expansive. It's generally calm, inspirational, and you feel a trust and certainty towards it. You feel safe. You don't feel fear at all. Okay. So that's when you know that it's coming from your spirit guides. Now, when you receive a guidance that's from your ego, it feels like it's fear, it's urgency. Like if you don't this, then that. If you do not do this, then that. You feel it's controlling, a sense of pressure and contraction. So that's the guidance from your mind or the ego. Okay, so that's the difference between spirit messages or things that your mind just make it up for you. So your spirit team isn't here to live the life for you. I want you to remind you of that. They are here to help you become more fully yourself. That's the goal, the most authentic version of yourself. The more you align with your soul gifts, heal your soul wounds, and learn your soul lessons, the easier it becomes to hear their guidance. The goal isn't to become dependent on spirit. The goal is to become so connected to your own soul so that you recognize spirit has been walking beside you all along. I hope this episode helped you or inspired you to connect with your spirit guides. And if you have any questions or comments, welcome to put it down there. Now, next week, we're going to have a very special guest, Larissa Westini. She is going to hop on and talk about the aura of your birth chart. She is an astrologer and a tarot reader. We are going to talk about how to use astrology to map out your soul's gifts, your evolution blueprint. It's going to be a really cool collaboration between the aura color wheel as well as astrology. As I mentioned, that I offer the cosmic blueprint reading, where I synthesize the 7 spiritual wisdoms, including Western and Vedic astrology, numerology, Enneagram, Genie keys, human design, and the aura color wheel, all together. I channel with Archangel Metatron, but into a very concise, actionable things that you can take in your daily life to be fully in alignment with your soul's purpose. So it's not those 250 pages. After you read it, you still don't know what to do. Mine is very concise, to the point that you can actionable to work on it. So if you're interested, you can also book a reading from me. But next week, since I will be traveling in Spain, the podcast episode will be pre-recorded, so it's not live. However, it will be also aired at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Across all platforms, as well as audio platform as well, so you can tune in. And then the following week is July 6th, and that's the July 4th weekend. So this podcast is going to take 1 week off to basically just take a break, because I will be still traveling in Spain. And then the following week, July 13th, it will be a pre-recorded channel meditation to connect with your spirit guides. So that way you can listen to the meditation while you want to receive a message from your spirit guide and spirit team. And then the following week, I think Watch Our Lovely Day just gave me a topic. We are going to talk about past lives because, I just mentioned that one of the reasons that I want to travel to Spain is because I have many past lives as a Southern Gypsy in Spain. My favorite food is actually paella, and I am flamenco dancer. And for a soul who was born in China, it's really really different. That's also why. And also my husband is Spanish speaking. So it's like you can tell, there is a synchronicity over there. So we'll definitely talk about that on July 20th. So this podcast has all the good things coming up for you. And if, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you have already grabbed a copy of the Aura Color Wheel book, we are having a live monthly Q&A and spirit message reading tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Once you purchase the book, you are able to join the Aura Color Wheel Facebook group circle, and you're going to have a Zoom link there that you can ask me any questions and I can do spirit message reading for you. And lastly, the Aura Evolution Sanctuary is a monthly membership with growing libraries of content that including connecting with your spirit team, as well as how you can evolve your soul, self-diagnose and self-heal different aura layers when they're out of balance. And that particular membership right now is first month is free. And we are gathering now because of my travel. So in July, we're going to gather on July 23rd. So if you are inside the membership, when you listen to this episode, remember in July, we're going to gather on July 23rd, first day at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And typically we meet every first day of the month, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And we're going to talk about a topic, and you're going to have my ongoing guidance of how your soul evolve. You can ask me any question there on the online community, as well as like-minded souls who are walking this path together. Okay, so those are all the support that I'm telling you that this is my soul's mission to help you find your soul's purpose with joy and fulfillment. It's my purpose. I hope to walk this soul evolution journey alongside with you. And I'm here. Ask me any questions. Otherwise, I will see you when I'm back from Spain. But this podcast will be on, and my online community is still welcome to ask you any questions. And I hope to see you in one of my communities very soon. I will drop all the links down here. And everything I offer, by the way, it's on helencreatesbeauty.com. That's also in the banner, helencreatesbeauty.com, including the free quiz. And since I mentioned the first month free for the Aura Evolution Sanctuary, it's a growing library of a lot of content, good contents that you can work on with the Aura Color Wheel system, as well as how to connect with your spirit guides. And here you go. That's the link. You can grab the link in the comment and join us for the first month free. Thank you so much for tuning with me live. It's always makes me heart sing when I see live interactions in a podcast episode. That's also my original idea why I want this podcast to be live, to get interaction from my audience rather than, just pre-recording and air it. And this podcast always have at least 1 or 2 guests per month, as well as some solo episodes or transmissions. So if you have any topics that you want to hear me talk about, or that's inside of the Aura Color Wheel book, anything that's relevant of soul evolution, welcome to suggest me any topics, and I will have a soul or that particular week to talk about it. All right, have a very blissful rest of your week. I hope to see you next time. Bye.